Nathaniel Hawthorne and Catherine Maria Sedgewick created literary portraits of the early years of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. Through the lens of Puritan society, they illuminated issues contemporary to them, or perhaps universal to all people. They used the past as a mirror for the future, conjuring up significant specters of history such as Anne Hutchinson, John Winthrop, and Pocahontas legitimized their tales, making their writings quintessentially American. But what would it be like if Hawthorne and Sedgewick were to look to the future, into our present?
Southwestern with our Alabama, but here tortilla pita. It's got a hot salsa, avocado, cilantro mixed with your choice of beans, chicken, beef or pork.
No, not like that? Well, let's start with Hawthorne. His story depends upon the Puritans' godly morality, even on the part of the sinful characters for intrigue. If he visited 2010, on the other hand, he might find traditional Puritan values looking less like this, or even this, and more like this. In The Scarlet Letter, Arthur Dimmesdale suffers under the weight of his secret sin of adultery. Hawthorne writes that the minister's guilt manifests itself either through self-inflicted wounds, through a gnawing tooth of remorse that made a bloody hole in his heart, or through the vengeful and sorcerous stalking of his paramour's husband. None of these possibilities is any picnic. The shame surrounding adultery figures broadly in the novel and eventually kills Dimmesdale. Hawthorne might be surprised then, or maybe even sickened, to find that today adulterers such as Bill Clinton, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and even Tiger Woods hold powerful and venerable societal positions. In fact, a simple Google search could show any time-traveling scribe that, nowadays, the only scarlet letters that people agonize over flaunting are the tattoos of subversive English nerds. To test this assertion, I did some field research. I visited some local haunts, my favorite pizza joint, and a school-sponsored event in monochromatic Puritan garb, adorned only with a prominent scarlet letter. Watch the reactions of my peers as they learn that I am an adulteress.
It's like a conference thing.
Because salad pizza does not exist. There's no such thing as a salad pizza. Okay, well, not a peer exactly, but an innocent child, a pearl, if you will, who unwittingly believed my condemnation of salad pizza. What about this? Another thoroughly disinterested person.
Can Lonnie help me look at you weird?
Yeah.
Because we together we can look at her weird, I think.
I'm making a YouTube video about the Scarlet Letter. So I'm making a YouTube video about the Scarlet Letter for my classes. So I was trying to elicit some responses. So you have to act like you don't want to talk to me though. Like I'm really sinful.
Bigger physical presence.
Yeah.
No.
You're so sinful.
Most people didn't even notice my brand of sin, and those who did seemed to view it as some lame joke. This young man simply wrote me off as an avid sports fan.
I thought you might have been like a Braves fan or something.
I think that's where the name comes from. Alright, so now that we have Hawthorne and John Winthrop officially turning over in their graves, what about Sedgewick? In Book 1 of Hope Leslie, Sedgewick piques reader interest by suggesting a budding romance between Everil Fletcher and Magawiska. After Magawiska's father expresses his vengeful intentions towards the Fletcher family and their community, however, the native maiden chooses to be loyal to her family and people rather than to pursue a relationship with Everil. When Hope tries to convince Magawiska to reopen communication with the dapper young Mr. Fletcher, the Pequot woman replies, "I have learned to deny even the cravings of my own heart. To pursue my purpose like the bird that keeps her wings stretched to the toilsome flight, though the sweetest note of her mate recalls her to the nest. Ironically, when Hope finds out that her own sister has married a Pequot man and assimilated into his culture, she is horrified, becoming so desperate as to attempt to bribe her sister to abandon her family with diamonds. The taboo nature of this reverse Pocahontas relationship reflects a wider current in the novel. While it seems almost acceptable for natives to adopt Western culture, language, style of dress, etc., Westerners who adopt an Aboriginal way of life are viewed as freaks of nature. Furthermore, Aboriginals who do not want to assimilate, like Magawiska and her father Monanoto, are eventually forced to disappear to the West and are never heard from again. Wait, that sounds familiar. Anyone ever heard of the Trail of Tears? On Edict of the Indian Removal Act, thousands of Native Americans relocated in 1831 from their homes in present-day Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, and North Carolina to present-day Oklahoma, further west. The harrowing journey killed many of the travelers.